In 2005, she followed her heart and started India's first travel club exclusively for women. Wow! Women on Wanderlust. 8 years later, she's taken over 5,000 women to 50 destinations around the world. Please welcome wanderer Sumitra Senapaty. Thanks, Sumi. Thanks so much for being here.
Thanks so much for having me here, Namu. It feels great to be back in Bangalore always.
Great, great. Getting on a flight is what you do, I guess, a lot.
A lot. I'd like to be known as the fearless female frequent flyer.
Love it. You know, I want to start by saying that I'm completely passionate about travel as well. And travel is so much more than just seeing places and sightseeing. When I travel, I reevaluate my goals and I set new goals for my life. And to be honest, I had the idea of starting this talk show when I was on an overnight train, the Orient Express, with my sister in Vietnam.
Yeah, a lot of great ideas come on trips.
So I completely agree. So I know that you had the idea to start a travel club when you were in New Zealand traveling solo. Can you tell us a little more?
Yeah, that was quite some time back. It was almost 12 years back, and I had this opportunity of driving solo around New Zealand. Not once, but twice. First it was the South Island, and then it was the North Island. And it was the second time when I came across this bunch of ladies who were talking 19 to the dozen, you know, in a cafe. And they saw me sitting alone, and they asked me to join them in their table. And that's where I discovered that they were actually a travel group. And they hadn't really met each other till they met at Heathrow. So I kind of liked the idea, you know, and there was a lot of difference in their age, the span of the age group. And I thought that it was really such a lovely idea, such a lovely opportunity for women to get together. And you know, you don't end up waiting for your friends and your relatives. Okay, are you free, Namu? Should we go to New Zealand? No, it's just that, okay, I want to go to New Zealand. I have the money and I have the time and I want to go. So that set me thinking when I got back home. And every Saturday over a glass of wine, I used to discuss the same thing with my family until they got tired of this topic. So eventually, after 12 months, I said that, okay, enough is enough. Let me give it a shot. And I chose a very interesting destination to start with. I chose Leh Ladakh, which is, you know, at that time, it was relatively unknown to everybody in India. I believe it's a very special pilot who is trained to take in the aircraft, you know, over there, and it's something very different. So that's how I started, and I was really very keen to make the idea work, and I wanted anybody and everybody and anything female to come on the trip. And my kids helped me. They gave me a list of all their friends, moms, telephone numbers, and I called them up. But it's very interesting, the moms didn't come, but the grandmoms came. It was fantastic here, and people thought I was mad. They're taking all these slightly, you know, I don't like to use the word senior because, you know, in WOW, it is only the young people who come, then the not so young who come, and the young at heart. So I don't have any other definition. But anyways, I took them.
So actually, I want to rewind a little bit. You know, in India, there are so many women who've never been on planes and let alone out of their homes. What impact has WOW made on these type of women?
Well, going back 8 years, Namu, it was kind of, women were not so independent financially and otherwise also. And they had all these strings attached, you know, husbands, fathers, everybody, men folk basically, wondering where they're going off on their own. It has come a long way, and I remember, you know, the first trip which I was referring to when we went to Leh Ladakh, there was this young, you know, I would say 27, 30-year-old woman who came, and she called me before, and she said that, listen, my daughter has seen snow on television. She saw snowfall, and she wants to go to some place where it snows. Can you take me? And I promised her that it would snow. I had no idea. I had no idea that it would snow. So when we went to Ladakh, it was such a bizarre trip. It was a freak snowfall in the month of May. And the Jawans controlled that road, and they took us into their, you know, little cafe, and they made tea for us, and we were all moaning and groaning, you know, and various things. But that little girl, I mean, she was thrilled Like she just went out and she made a little snowman, and not content with that, she ran into their kitchen. She asked for a little bit of pepper and, you know, carrot and something for the eyes, nose and ears. So that is something which will, I think, remain with me for the rest of my life, because I do feel that I made a difference to their lives, particularly because both mother and daughter had never seen an airport before. She saved a couple of months for it. I mean, she didn't have, you know, family wealth to get her on this trip. She requested me for innumerable discounts, which I gave her. And I don't give discounts because I feel, you know, I don't, because I want everybody to feel, you know, that they're on the same level field.
Absolutely.
I would like to be fair to everyone, to all the wanderers who join me. But I think this is the only exception that I've made in 8 years, and I don't regret it.
So, you know, Sumi, it seems like you haven't followed any formulas. How would you say you've made this a success, and what is your work philosophy?
See, my work philosophy is basically, if you enjoy your work, it's not work. I'll give you an example. I've climbed the Acropolis in Greece, in Athens, at least 6 times, and I'm not tired of it. With this year, when I went to the Mediterranean, I thought I would be tired. So there I was holding an umbrella and climbing up all the way, and I loved it. So my work philosophy is try and love your work. You'll never feel fatigued or tired of it.
But I'm sure you've had your fair share of challenges as well. If you can just tell us a little bit about that side.
Well, I think the biggest challenge I have is myself, because I've set such a high benchmark. I like everything to be perfect. And I think that's really tough, especially since, you know, we started with 4 trips. We do close to 60 to 70 trips a year. And for everything to go really hunky-dory, for everything to be perfect to the T, it's a very tall order. And then now with so many trips, I have to rely on others. I have to rely on my team. So I think that's my biggest challenge, you know, setting the benchmark and trying to meet the standards and ensuring that it goes well. And women can be so demanding.
More and more
yes,
so. That's
yes.
a good thing.
Yeah, that's also. The other challenge that I have is trying to get through to everybody. And every day there are people who call me, women who call me and say that, oh, I didn't know about WOW. That's another challenge, that I'd like to reach out to all of them to tell them that, listen, you don't have to think and wonder anymore. This is a platform for you. But that's the other challenge.
Sumi, India is a patriarchal society. Tell me about WOW's relationship with Indian men.
Oh, okay. Okay, so Indian men, well, I don't encourage talking with Indian men along at all. At all. Well, I'll tell you why. It's not that I have anything against them. It's just that I get so many inane phone calls. I want to know about your Ireland trip. Then I tell him that, listen, is it for your mother? Is it for your sister or aunt or your daughter? So he says, yes, my friend. Then I tell him that, listen, please ask her to call me. And I know that this conversation is not going to end in anything. That all guys who ring up and say that they want to book for their mother, sister, aunt, daughter are just, you know, what you say? Time pass. They just, you know, for the heck of it. And many of them call and they ask me these stupid questions. What is this lust? Why the lust?
I bet you hadn't thought of that one.
Yeah. So, but having said that, there are a lot of fathers who call and a lot of mothers also. And naturally, I would think that, you know, being parents, they are particular and they would like to know about all, you know, the safety concerns and, you know, the different issues of traveling. And there was this very touching case of, you know, a couple from Calcutta recently. And I had no idea why this gentleman used to call me every other day, you know. He used to call, he was very, very particular about his wife's bookings. He paid the money, did the ticket, everything. And he was really so nice to talk to, so I didn't mind talking with him. Yes, but it's a sad thing, it's very sad. Because, you know, like when she went for the trip and she came back, he wrote a thank you note to me. He said, thank you so much for making this happen for my wife. I don't know how long she's going to live to travel because she is suffering from a final stage of cancer. So, and then he said that she had, once made me promise that I don't want any, medical expenditure. Whatever money we have, I'd like to blow it up on travel.
Wow.
So it was something, another one thing which will always remain with me. And, Namu, it's not only about having a holiday. It's not only about traveling.
Absolutely.
It's about the bonding. Like I'll never forget, that about 6 years back when one of the wanderers, her husband passed away all of a sudden. People went across the country. They got a flight from Delhi for her condolence. So this is the outcome of just spending 10, 12 days together in Egypt. You are, spending time. And there are a lot of people who write and tell me that they've made friends for life. So that's my biggest thrill of WOW.
That's just wonderful. Sumi, thank you so much for sharing your story. But before you go, I have a round called the Quickie with Namu Kini. Trekking Machu Picchu or lounging in the Maldives?
Trekking Machu Picchu.
Your favorite cuisine?
Italian.
Your biggest cheerleader?
My mom.
In school, were you better at math, geography, or history?
None of them.
Good to hear. There's hope for all of us, people. An alternate career?
No, I have no alternate career. I love what I'm doing and I wouldn't trade it.
You can never have too many?
Margaritas.
5-year plan or go with the flow?
Go with the flow.
Your most essential travel accessory apart from your passport?
My camera. I cannot do without it.
Thank you so much, Sumi.
Thanks so much, Namu.
Everybody.